Guys, welcome to this live session. So this video is actually a test video. You can see that I don't even give any alert for it. So in this video, what we want to do is a question on University of Ibadan Post-Utme. So what we are going to be doing is this is actually differentiation. Find y 1 minus 2x raised to power 3. Find the value of dy over dx at x is equals to minus 1. Now in this question, they now give us the answer. In this question, you see that this is dy dx. You can see now, this is what? This is dy dx. So what they're asking you to do is what? Differentiation. They're asking you to what? Differentiation. But in this question, what we are going to firstly do is what? We're going to differentiate this function. Then after differentiation, the next thing we're going to now do is that we will now equate the value of x to be minus 1 after differentiating. I'm going to tell you how to do it now. Now the first thing we want to do is firstly write the solution. Can you see now? The question says y is equals to 1 minus 2x raised to power 3, right? They now said find the value of dy dx at x is equals to minus 1. You understand? Now what are we going to do now? Now we have what? 1 minus 2x inside, right? According to the rule of differentiation, but whenever you want to do questions like this, what you just do is that the function inside this bracket, like what you have inside this bracket, yes, right? You will represent it with u. What I mean is you will what? You know, we have 1 minus 2x inside this bracket, right? So what you are going to do is what? You will represent this 1 minus 2x. You will say u is equals to 1 minus 2x. Whenever you have questions like this is how you do it. So it means our u is now what? Our 1 minus 2x is now what? U, right? So it will now have to going to be y is equals to what? U raised to power 3. Because we have made our 1 minus 2x, we have made it what? U. Now the next thing you are going to do is now what? We differentiate this to u. How do you do that? That will be dy over du using your power rule. Power rule says you're going to beat this 3. You bring it to the u in front of u here. So you're going to, that is, you multiply this 3 by the coefficient of u. If you look at this u, it doesn't have any coefficients. Or do you see any coefficient here? So it means it is 1. The thing is, if I have x like this, the coefficient of x here is 1, right? But if I have 2x, the coefficient is 2. Do you understand the logic? So that's just this. So the coefficient of u here is what? 1, but you cannot write it. You don't need to write it. Do you understand? It's just like saying I have 1 pencil. Do you understand me? So you bring 3 here. 3 is now down. That is, you multiply by the coefficient of u. Now you still have u, abi. You now remove 1 from this 3. What do we now have now? 3 minus 1. So our dy du will now be equals to 3u, 3 minus 2, 3 minus 1, 2. So you have differentiated. Now the next thing you have to do is now what? You will now differentiate this 1 minus 2x with this u. So when you want to differentiate 1 minus 2x with this u, it will now become what? Du dx. Do you see what we are doing? What is in the front is what we start. Here, y is in the front. We say dy du because u is inside. The same thing here. We want to differentiate u and x. What you're going to do is what? It's going to become du dx. What is in the front, that is what is inside the in front of equals to, will be the denominator. Do you see what we are doing now? So du dx will now be differentiation of constants. 1 is a constant. The differentiation of constant is what? 0 minus differentiation of minus 2x. If you look at this 2x here, what is the power of this x? It is 1, right? Using your power rule, 1 times 2, what do you have? You have 2, right? Now what do you have left? Don't forget rule of power rule. You will remove 1 from the x here, so it will now be 1 minus 1. So what do we have now? So 0, that one is gone. You have minus 2, right? X raised to power 0. So what do you have now? Your du dx now is equals to what? You know, x raised to power 0 is what? 1. 1 times minus 2. That would be what? Minus 2. So you have been able to get your du dx and your dy du. Now the next thing you are not going to do is, you see that the question is not asking us du dx or dy du. What they're asking us is dy dx. Now let's do our dy dx. Our dy dx will now be equals to, let me try to manage this place. Dy dx, look at it, it will now be equals to du dx times, sorry, let me get it duster and let me try to rub it. I think you understand what we did. So we're now going to have dy, oh sorry, that duster is actually very wet, so you have to bear with me. Okay. So that's what dy du. Now what do we get for our du dx? Minus 2. Minus 2 times, what's our dy du? We get what? 3u squared. Now what do we make to be our u in the beginning of this question? We said our u is what? 1 minus 2x, right? So instead of writing u here, you represent it by what? 1 minus 2x. So we now have what? Minus 2 times 3 into 1 minus 2x raised to power what? Raised to power 2. Do you understand? So what do we now have left? We now have what? Minus 2 times 3, that is 6. Minus 6 into 1 minus 2x raised to power 2. Now recall, look at the question. They said dy dx at x is equal to minus 1. So it means we've gotten our dy dx. This is our dy dx. So what they're asking us to find is what? Dy dx when your x is minus 1. So it means what I'm going to do is that this x is equal to minus 1. I'm going to, any place I see x, I'm going to be putting minus 1 there. Do you get the logic? So let's do that. So we're now going to get minus 6 into 1 minus 2. What do we have here? X. So anywhere I see x, I put what? Minus 1. So let's do that. Minus 6 is equals to 1 minus 2 times minus 1. So that's what? Plus 2. Right? Raised to power 2. So what do we have now? Minus 6 into 1 plus 2. So that is what? That is 3 raised to power 2. So we have minus 6 into, 3 times 3. 3 raised to power 2 is what? 3 times 3. That is 9. So you multiply it by 9. So what do we have now? Minus 54. So that's our final answer. So that's how to do questions like this. So you can see the question is very, very easy. Not that difficult. Not difficult at all. Once you know your differentiation and you're able to differentiate doing this, then you are good to go. You understand? So by the way, you need to know different rules of differentiation. We have product rule, we have the power rule, we have the function of function, and we have the quotient rule. What we use here is we use the product rule. Sorry, we use the function of function here. So it's not something that's difficult. So that's how to do questions like this. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.